close the cards. Okay, so Sorelei, this is for you. Setting up Photoshop for sprite animation. Once I've done a bunch of animation in a PSD, this is usually what it winds up looking like. A whole bunch of crazy frames and stuff laid out kind of image strip style. Oh, Tigerian. Me either. How do you think I feel? I totally fell for that trap. So the thing you want to do in Photoshop is go to Window, pull open the timeline down here, and by default, you might not have, you know, sort of like the After Effects timeline. You might have like the GIF frame timeline. So what you want to do is on the corner pop out here, click on that, and where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? I'm looking at it, but I'm not looking at it. Render video. Oh wait, so it's I think. Shit, let me just open up a new PSD and see. Right, so this right here. So if you open up a PSD and open up the timeline for the first time, you might get this element here, create video timeline. Click on that because you want a video timeline to do this sort of thing. And so everything on here is mostly kind of grouped into layers. Where is it? Yeah, like all these guys are one layer. All those guys are another layer. And what you want to do is on a given layer, so on my layer big blue, I have my playhead, and I have keyframes. And for each one of those keyframes, I'll do it on throw. So on the throw layer, also you see I've got like these purple or these magenta registration keys. What I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the position marker, and that's going to give me a position keyframe, and toggle my guides just so I can see. It's down here, and just move that over. Whatever increment or width your frames are, if they're, you know, like 24, 36, 72, whatever you're doing, just move it over that many pixels, and then you can scrub through, preview like so. You can edit these like little field markers here. You can make that wider or smaller, and the nice thing about that is when you press the spacebar, it's going to animate that section of your frame span, or you can click and drag the inside of that frame span to kind of recenter it on what you want to preview, depending on, you know, what you want to see. Just like that. It's pretty easy. There are features sort of missing from Photoshop when it comes to animation that I feel like it would benefit from. I always talk about this, but programs like Sprite and Pixel Edit have the ability to preview an animation while you are actually working on it, sort of doing like a dual panel view. You might be able to do that with some like alternate document window tricks, but I know just one thing happens, like, so if I'm animating in window 1 and I mouse over to window 2, losing focus on your PSD stops the animation from previewing, so that's just something that you kind of have to live with. But, you know, there's nothing wrong with really setting things up and then doing a test and checking it one way or the other. Just doing some checks, some tweaks, and then you kind of like scrub through, see how it looks. Maybe you just let it play, tweak your span in case, you know, things aren't doing exactly what you anticipate them to do. But also, if you have an overly complicated PSD, either the canvas is too large, too many layers, too much of like a history in that PSD, it won't, and you're trying to do pixel art, it will stop rendering animation frames as sharp pixel art. It'll alias everything, I think, or anti-alias it. I always do that. So it will anti-alias your edges. You want the crisp aliased edges so that you can preview it correctly, and then maybe Photoshop will shit the bed a little bit, but that's how you do it, Sorelei. that's the way in Photoshop. But you know, there's other cheaper tools out there if you don't want to do the setup. But if you're an Adobe baby like me and you always use Adobe stuff for everything, then you can do it in there. You can do it in Photoshop. It works pretty nice. So that's about it. You got it. Someday I'll write it down and people can check it out whenever they want to. I really need to do a video. That might be the video there. I might just make a snippet and say, there it is. This is how I do my animation setup.